Today we're going to be talking about the new ratchet strap system that's going on all of the new suppression apparatus here in the near future. So we're going to go through a quick scenario here using the new ratchet strap, the 2-bag system, along with the strut system. And in this particular scenario, it's going to be a tie-back. So we have our engine crew that just arrived on scene. Vehicle's on its side. We have an inability to access or strut the clean side of that vehicle. So if you notice our first two firefighters, first thing we're going to start that process is get our step cribbing out. As we begin to place our step cribbing, I want to take some notes and making sure we're putting them in positions that capture the vehicle's weight. If you notice these, we have them at the post location, A, B, and the C post. Once our step cribbing is in place, now it's time to get around to securing this vehicle. So we already have all this already on the truck, the Rescue 42 Juniors. Depending on how you're going to set the strut up, whether it's going to be in a strut position with a lifting and or prop. In this particular scenario, I believe both of our firefighters are going to be using in a lifting position. Remember, we're not actually lifting the vehicle, we're only applying enough weight in order to capture it. Now, as our firefighters begin to look, they're looking for a capture point at the top. They found a good portion of the frame in order to capture the underside of the vehicle and the dirty side. They've detached the hook from the top of the 42 and are using the cluster to locate anchor points at the lower part of the vehicle. Now our other firefighter is beginning to work on the tie back. These two things do have to be kind of done in conjunction, because when we begin to set the struts, we're not protecting the victim side is where they're at. They're on the clean side. So as soon as we're able to get our tie back in place with a light amount of tension, we're able to capture it from actually starting to move in that direction. Now once our chains are positioned, we can pull it back in the center point, find ourselves the center point of the chain, make the hook, feed it through our ratchet strap. Ultimately, at the one end, we have an anchor point. What do we have on every fire scene? FTO vehicles, battalion chiefs, an engine. Now, while we're making this ratchet strap connection here, making sure we're keeping the strap in line as we begin to tension up. This is important, that way it doesn't bind up in the ratchet strap. Now we have a slight amount of tension on the chain. We can go back and check our struts. Everything should now be slightly pressurized. After a final check, all the ratchet handles are placed in the upward position. We've captured this vehicle for stabilization, and now it's time to get our extrication tools and move back to the clean side for victim removal. A couple of small notes to remember during that process. Remember, we had a victim there, rescue crew, when they arrived on scene. What do we need to look at? Assessing our patient as soon as possible. Now that we have a stabilization, we can actually put a firefighter in the vehicle to begin to assess our patient, cover our patient with the sheet from the glass, and begin the extrication. So a couple notes to note when you're utilizing the cluster with the Rescue 42 Juniors. If you're going to disconnect it and use the actual cluster, make sure when you make the hook point, you're utilizing the triangle. All right, we're not grabbing up to one of these links. This is where we're actually capturing our load. When we come back up and when we go to feed this into the ratchet system itself, we want to leave a little slack. We want to actually be able to turn about two and a half rotations so that the webbing is captured here in the ratchet strap and able to hold it. If we only get about one turn on it, meaning we feed this in too much, we don't actually capture the load and it could slip the ratchet strap system. A couple of the notes with the Rescue 42, make sure that the locking pin is in the closed position. Once you set it, don't leave this in the up position or halfway. It's not locking the pin in place, so make sure we bring that all the way to the lower position. Ideally with our 42s, we're looking for a capture on an actual a strong structural component of the vehicle. We don't want to catch down here where the lines are, we want to catch the actual unibody system. And ideally, once we set our struts up inside the V of our tie back, we want the chains at least at or slightly above our point here. Right? This might not always be the possibility in real life, but if we're able to capture it just above or just at, it allows this vehicle to be drawn in to the struts. So now the vehicle is unable to move in this direction or towards the clean side where our victim is at. So on the rear of the vehicle, we're utilizing an FTO battalion chief trucks, which are all getting outfitted with the ball hitches. The one end of the strap has the chain. There is a certain amount of chain. We're able to wrap it and slip it into the joint here. Right? This is better than trying to capture a point possibly somewhere else. This might be a much preferred method, is just give it a wrap, slip it into the joint at a snug position, and then line where we're going to be the tie back location. This can be on the FTO, the battalion chief, or an engine that might be on scene. Make sure this vehicle is stationary. This might be the time to actually turn the vehicle off, place it in park, set the parking brake, and physically remove the key from the vehicle so we don't worry about somebody leaving or attempting to move this vehicle once attached.